Good afternoon, everyone. My background is in private equity. I'm also an investment manager, and I have a long family history in real estate. But I'm here today to talk about restoring the health of our oceans. 12 months ago, my team came to the Blue Food Summit looking for investment opportunities. Luckily, they met with Brian Takeda. 8 months later, we acquired the majority stake in Urchanomics, and I could not be happier. Why Urchanomics? Well, it's mainly because of Brian's vision to restore ocean health by combining traditional fishermen with aquaculture to produce high-value seafood, which ultimately restores our kelp forests. People, planet, profit. A brilliant venture. A full-circle, holistic approach to restoration that generates sustainable profit. Not only did we admire Brian's vision, but the business answered my 6 key investment questions. I'm going to share those questions with you today because it's my personal mission to restore our ocean's health, and if that includes giving away my own business secrets, so be it. I am very happy to. It's for all our benefit. And you never know, by being open, we may just match with the next trailblazing ecopreneur. But why the ocean? And why do I want to restore ocean health? If I take you back to 4-year-old Giles, following his grandfather as he walked down Icon Cliffs to the River Old in Suffolk, taking 3 steps to his one, usually wet, cold, and tired, but full of expectation and never complaining in case he didn't get invited again. Just sitting there with that wonderful man, listening to his stories about big fish and the ones that got away, watching the world wake up as the estuary came alive. Those early memories are deep-rooted in my soul and have shaped who I am today. Our estuaries are beautiful, and we must protect them. And if you haven't ever been to one, please do. Get there early. Watch the sun come up. Watch the tide come in. And if you're really lucky, listen to the widgeon whistle on the wind. Those experiences at such a young age have influenced how I live my life, how I run my businesses, how I spend my time, even my holidays. Everything centers around being close to the water. I'm a passionate, almost fanatical fisherman, and the excitement and expectation of catching a fish are as strong today as when I was 4 years old. It doesn't matter whether it's chasing blue marlin or catching tilapia in a broodstock tank. I'm drawn to the water, and yes, I have caught fish in a barrel, and I loved it. As the years pass by, it's become harder to find and catch fish due to increasing sea surface temperatures. I'm embarrassed to say, I never really put together that catching less fish and warming water was connected to climate change. Well, that was until 2017, when Hurricane Irma, a Category 5 hurricane, which is the ocean's solution to cooling itself, destroyed my home, 4,000 homes of my fellow Virgin Islanders, and ultimately took the life of my good friend and boat captain, Seth. Climate change became very real, very fast, and I changed. So I'm motivated to do something about it. If we don't address the ravages of climate change now, we will all suffer. And selfishly, I may never get to take my grandchildren fishing and give them the treasured memories I have. It's why I dedicate my time and capital to investing in nature-based solutions and backing mission-aligned ecopreneurs who want to help heal the oceans and fight global warming. It's why I'm an ecopreneur. I have spent many years as an investment manager. I understand how venture capital works, how it opens doors and makes the seemingly impossible possible. I've been able to unlock capital, whether it's raising money through our broker-dealer, our private equity firm, or even from my own family office. I know capital creates opportunities and breathes life into floundering businesses. Sorry, no pun intended, but what an absolute delight grilled flounder with caper butter is, isn't it? That's not to say I have all the answers. I'm not a climatologist or marine biologist, an accountant, or even a financial expert. But I have founded many companies, invested in startups, and managed dozens more. I've also sat on both sides of the table, either as the investment decision maker or the guy pitching to raise money for one of our projects. So I believe I'm uniquely positioned to help founders and investors come together, to help both sides learn each other's language and translate the founder's vision to the investor's expectation. It's why I also believe I know why SDG 14, Life Underwater, has received the least investment of the UN's 17 Sustainable Development Goals. It's simply because founders just don't speak the same language as investors. I see it time and time again, and I want to help close the language gap. Investment should be pouring into the blue economy. It's an amazing time to invest, but projects are still finding it hard to get funding. Aquaculture is the fastest growing sector for food production and will remain so for at least the next 2 decades. And that's still not enough. In 2004, when my journey into aquaculture began, most other investment bankers thought I was crazy. I remember an argument with an oil and gas broker telling me there was no future in aquaculture and I should be doubling down on oil and gas. A lot of those bankers see the aquaculture opportunity now, but they're still not investing. Look, most of you in the room know way more about aquaculture statistics than I do, that we produce more than $230 billion of fish and shellfish annually, that by 2030, consumption of farmed fish will rise to nearly 2/3 of our total seafood consumption. Aquaculture will address food insecurity, and it will help poverty in developing nations, but only if we can match investors with founders and get projects funded. And my wish is that the people in this room will play a major role in that growth. I will certainly do my bit. I have almost 2 decades experience of building and operating profitable aquaculture ventures. And if I can help get more projects off the ground, then I am going to. Like we did 12 months ago, when this summit provided the platform to match Brian, a founder, with Cadman, an investor. The blue economy is bigger than just growing fish. It's a mission to create jobs, restore our oceans, reverse climate change, feed the world, and make a profit for investors. Let me say that again. There's a way to make profit for investors and reverse climate change. I'm really excited about the future and very happy to be at the Blue Food Innovation Summit because it's Lonely Hearts for Business. It's a matchmaking event. It's investors and founders looking for a match. We came here last year and we got a match. Will you? My advice is keep it simple. If I'm looking for an investor, I have a 30-second elevator pitch. If I'm looking to invest, I then have 6 simple questions that I need answered before I move to the project funding stage. Question 1. Do the founders understand the critical mortality factors with their selected species? Whilst it sounds obvious, in my experience, they mostly do not. Founders need to understand what keeps their species alive, but also what factors contribute to their demise. When I agreed to fund Caribbean sustainable fisheries, I asked the founder to keep a lobster alive in a bucket for a month, which he did. And we now sell lobsters all over the US and Caribbean. It wasn't that he kept it alive that convinced me. It was that he knew he could. He knew what would keep it alive and what would result in its death. Question 2. Are the founders commercially driven? Do they want to make a profit? Are they fiscally disciplined? Can they demonstrate they can follow a budget and that they are focused on running a profitable business? What controls are in place? And if they're not in place, will the founder accept stricter controls, agree to no fancy officers and expenses which do not improve operations? This mindset and a need to drive down energy costs at CSF meant we stumbled upon a natural solution to remove nitrates from the water. As part of the RAS, we passed the water through a mangrove raceway. I mean, who knew supercharging mangrove propagules with lobster poop would not only restore our precious mangroves, but it would also save money, generate income, and lower energy costs. Next year, I hope cruise ship passengers will pay us to plant them. We must always think commercially. Question 3. Is it a scalable, modular system that can be replicated? If you can demonstrate an operating profit from an 8-module system, I will want to invest in an 800-module system. Modules create efficiency, disease prevention, as well as biosecurity. I need to understand the simple economics of one module, then it's a matter of copy and repeat, copy and repeat. Remember the bucket. Our on-land lobster farm is basically a lot of big buckets. Question 4. What intellectual property can be monetized? To get the capital to scale up, we will need something proprietary, whether it's feed, process, equipment, know-how, or the system. I need something unique. At the Oyster Restoration Company, for example, they have built a broodstock library of native oysters, genetically sequenced and indexed. It was an easy decision to agree to fund the hatchery expansion, especially when it will produce 150 million oyster spat per year, aquaculture and restoration working together to clean our coastal waters. Question 5. What impact does it make, and what problem will it solve? At Urchinomics, we restore our kelp forests by removing sea urchins, which provide income to local fishermen and produces world-class uni year-round. Kelp forests sequester 50 times the carbon of a boreal forest, and the uni is incredible to eat. That brings me to question 6. How does it taste? I mostly eat fish, and if I haven't caught it myself, or it's not from one of our farms, then I choose sustainably sourced fish and shellfish. So of course, I want to invest in companies that produce great tasting seafood. More importantly, in my experience, if it tastes great, then it's been well treated in a clean environment with the right diet, and the operators are ethical and humane. They are the 6 key questions that I need answers to move to due diligence and begin the investment journey. This September, I'm really looking forward to what I call my perfect bite. A seafood stack made from a sustainable tank-grown spiny lobster, a restorative native oyster, a Cornish lobster caught by a fisherman from the National Lobster Hatchery Restocking Programme, and a couple of pieces of Urchinomics uni which contribute to saving our kelp forests. And if I'm really lucky, I may even have one of our scallops from a new project of ours. But don't tell marketing, because I don't think we've told anybody else yet. The perfect bite, combining aquaculture, wild fisheries, and restoration from the same plate. My vision is to see the convergence of wild fisheries with conservation and aquaculture working in harmony to give nature the helping hand it needs to begin the healing process. We're at the dawn of a new era, and the opportunity is in our hands. The people in this room have a chance to make a difference today. I'll leave you with the words from my father, who always used to say, people won't start saving the planet, Giles. Not until they can make money doing it. Well, I believe that time is now, that the right time is now to invest in nature-based solutions for a sustainable future. Thank you.